Hey guys, welcome back, and today I'll be covering what you need to know about using Binance as a US resident, or really from any restricted location. I'll walk you through why access is limited in the first place, how some people are still managing to use Binance.com, and what the risks and limitations are if you decide to go that route. And just as a heads up, this video is for informational purposes only, not a recommendation to bypass any platform's terms of service. But if you are planning to use a VPN, I'll also cover which ones work best and how to set them up properly to avoid common issues. You'll also find links to the best discounts and full reviews down in the description, so feel free to check those out if you're interested. Now, Binance does have a version made specifically for US users. That's Binance.us, but it's not available in every state. So if you live in places like New York, Texas, or Washington, you won't be able to access it at all. And if you try going to Binance.com, it either redirects you to the US site or gives you an error message. The reason for all this comes down to compliance and licensing laws, which vary state by state. Binance.us simply doesn't have permission to operate everywhere, and the international version blocks US-based IP addresses as part of that restriction. So to get around that, some users turn to a VPN, and what that does is it lets you connect through a server in another country, like Switzerland or Germany, where Binance.com is fully available. That way, the site loads just like it would for anyone living there, and you're not automatically redirected or blocked. Now, just a quick warning, this type of access goes against Binance's terms of service, so even if your account is fully verified, you could still run into problems like account freezes or even permanent suspensions, and that's something you'll definitely want to consider before moving forward. If you're planning to use a VPN, you'll want one that supports strong obfuscation. That's what helps hide the fact that you're using a VPN at all, which can reduce the chances of being flagged. And before you connect, make sure to clear out your browser cookies and cache, especially if you've accessed Binance.us before. Using incognito mode or switching to a different browser can also help keep things clean. Now, in terms of which VPNs actually work for this, the three that I've found to be the most reliable are ExpressVPN, NordVPN, and Surfshark. Express is probably the easiest to get started with since it's incredibly straightforward and obfuscation is already built in. You don't have to touch any settings. Nord gives you more customization and tools, so it's a better option if you want extra privacy controls or plan to use it for other things like torrenting or streaming. And then Surfshark is the best value overall. It's affordable, includes most of the same features, and it's the only one of the three that lets you connect unlimited devices under a single account, which is a big advantage if you're sharing it across multiple phones or laptops. All three support strong obfuscation, work well with Binance, and include a 30-day money-back guarantee. And I'll go over more of their features and details a little later in the video. And once you're set up, just connect to a non-US server, like one in Switzerland, before you visit the site. Try to stick with the same country each time you log in, just to keep everything consistent. Now, if you're creating a new Binance account, you'll still need to complete their identity verification process. That means uploading an ID and sometimes a passport, which also has to match the country you're connected through. So if you're using a VPN set to Germany, for example, but you upload a US passport, that mismatch can raise red flags on your account. The safer route is to avoid high volume activity, so keep things minimal with trading and withdrawals. The more aggressive your account behavior is, the more likely it'll trigger additional checks. So even if things seem fine at first, there's always the risk of Binance requesting further verification down the line. Now, one thing you'll definitely want to avoid is logging into Binance without your VPN turned on. Even just one login from a US IP address can be enough to lock your account or trigger a review. And while incognito mode can help, using it too often without cookies can start to look suspicious over time. A better approach is to clear your cookies and cache before visiting Binance, then just use a regular browser while staying connected to the same VPN region. That gives you a more stable and consistent experience, and it's less likely to raise any behavior flags from Binance's side. Just keep in mind that Binance uses some pretty advanced tracking tools, things like device fingerprinting, browsing patterns, and even VPN detection systems. So even if you're connected through a strong VPN, it's still a good idea to keep your behavior as consistent and low profile as possible. Now, just to quickly recap, if you are planning to access Binance from a restricted location, the most important steps are use a VPN with good obfuscation, stick to one consistent server region, clear your cookies or use incognito, and try to keep your activity fairly light, especially when it comes to large withdrawals or major trades. And for VPNs that actually work well with Binance, the three I'd recommend are ExpressVPN, NordVPN, and Surfshark. Starting with ExpressVPN, this is probably the simplest fastest and most beginner-friendly option of the three. It gives you access to over 3,000 servers in 105 countries, and it's one of the few VPNs where obfuscation is already built in on every server. So you don't have to tweak any settings to get around blocks, just connect and go. It also uses their own lightweight protocol, which is designed to give you faster and more stable performance, especially on mobile devices. So if you want something that's fast, straightforward, and works reliably in restricted regions, Express is a great place to start. Next is NordVPN, which gives you a lot more customization and privacy tools if that's something you care about. It has the largest server network of the three, with over 7,900 servers in 165 countries, and includes specialty options like double VPN, dedicated IPs, and obfuscated servers you can select manually. Nord also uses its own NordLynx protocol, which keeps things fast even with those extra privacy layers. So if you want more control over how you connect and maybe plan to use the VPN for other things like torrenting or streaming, Nord is a really well-rounded choice. And finally, Surfshark is the most budget-friendly option of the group, but it still holds its own when it comes to features. You get access to 3,200 plus servers across 100 countries, plus extras like multi-hop for added privacy, static IP, and clean web, which blocks ads and trackers. And the big standout here is that Surfshark supports unlimited devices under a single subscription, which makes it really convenient if you plan to use the VPN across multiple phones, laptops, or even share it with family. All three come with a 30-day money-back guarantee and 24/7 live chat support, so you'll have time to test them out and see which one fits your needs best. I'll include links in the description to any current discounts or coupons I can find, as well as in-depth reviews, so feel free to check those out if you're interested. So hopefully you found this guide helpful. If so, please leave a thumbs up, as I always appreciate that. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave those down in the comments below, as I love getting to answer as many of those as I can. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.